Okay. So you starting tomorrow?
Sure, why not?
I,
So
I
we the
kind
perspective now.
no. I think it's still the Prefect Perspective podcast. We was just never saying it right for the last like 5 episodes.
Okay,
We can say it right this episode.
okay. Because I get confused. What's going on, everybody? It's the People's Realtor, Realty Ryan, and Mr.
Romano the Realtor.
Yes, sir.
We're not on full name basis just yet.
Real. We ain't gotta give them all that. You know what I'm saying? Dropping governments and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a government, all right.
Oh no.
Oh.
I mean that's like a multi-level one though, because like
Yeah.
if you say that, it could mean
A lot of things.
you know what I mean. Like you don't wanna get
Get them twisted.
your family investigated.
Yeah, I don't wanna.
They deport your
Y'all
great
leave
great
me alone.
grandfather, and
Yeah.
then they say you ain't a
Ain't none of
citizen
them.
no more.
Yeah, ain't none of them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They ain't around, but they could make whatever up they want to make.
Right.
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Change your history.
I'm kidding. I'm not. Yeah. So we live in trying times, and in this difficult moment in the United States history, we at Prefect Realty still out here selling.
Yes, sir. And bringing you that prefect perspective, baby.
Doesn't matter what time period you're watching this video in, you're still gonna need to know what a professional realtor does to list a house. But before we get into all that official talk, all that professionalism, what you been up to, Ryan?
Man,
What
oh
you been at?
man,
What's good?
oh man.
What's up?
I think I talked last time about the Atlantic City trip.
Yeah.
Told you guys a little bit
You
about
always
that.
down there, yeah.
Since then, chilling. Little bit of drama.
A little bit of drama.
Yeah, but we're not gonna dig too deep into that right now.
Okay.
But we got some things going on. I wanted to bring Ari on and talk about it, but we're gonna save it for another time and come back the right way.
Right. Some group therapy never hurts.
Yeah. With the whole team. Shout out to
And
the
the viewers.
subscribers.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So if
We
you ever
appreciate you guys.
looking for some positivity, you know where to find us.
That's it. That's it. We're right here.
Almost there. Yeah.
247 Tallinn.
Oh.
Baby.
Yeah, we got a therapist office downstairs. You know, we got a full real estate brokerage building, but the secret is that we are like part-time therapists. So like our bottom floor, we don't have offices. We just have like a whole couch set up, you know, with the candy bowl on the middle table.
Feel me?
And then we got the notepad on the side table with a little bookshelf on the back. And, you know, when our clients just get down in the weeds, we try to, like, pull them back up.
Gotta get them up.
Got to get them up.
You feel me?
I'm saying.
Sometimes it's a phone call. Sometimes we taking it to that new technology. We do it virtual call.
Yeah.
And let them know
Telehealth.
what it is. Yeah, all that.
You know, telehome ownership.
Right.
That's so stupid. No, speaking of over the phone, I mean, we do tend to get a lot of calls from like past clients. So, I mean, what do those consist of for you? For me, it's like, yo, I just got like a letter in the mail, and it says something about my home warranty. Do I buy it?
That's funny.
You know, you tell them
Yeah.
no. Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Right.
What
Right.
do you get calls about, yo?
I mean, usually to help them out
Help
in
out.
some type of way, like
Unclog a pipe.
maybe something like that, but not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey, don't.
you know, like I said, I let all my clients know that, you know, I work in renovating and flipping and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So sometimes it's even part of my negotiation tactic
Oh.
with my clients
Yeah.
to let them know that, hey, let's not worry about this. I got some people who will fabricate it for you and will knock it out.
Fabric. You mean repair, maintain?
So my
said.
last client, I don't know if I discussed it in one of the previous episodes, but I don't think I did. But we relocated a water heater.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what happened is my client's basement was not a full basement, it was more of a crawl space.
Oh,
It had a 30-gallon tank down there that was actually faulty.
how high you talking about? Y'all was like this, or
Type
were you like
y'all was
y'all
hold
was
up,
like this?
y'all was nothing because you and the inspector and maybe him was about the only ones who went down there. I stuck the phone down there. I hit him with one of these, and I was like,
Yo,
"Yeah, it's tight down there, buddy. Yeah, you can go check it out if you like to." You know,
yo, and it's exactly as y'all imagine. I could put like a concept up, but like deep dark, sometimes tight dark.
whoa,
Period. Pause.
no, don't pause
You
it.
know, I mean, like
I
it gets
mean,
real crazy down there. So you don't want to do it, but you're a professional.
right.
You know.
So what we did that was awesome though is we relocated it
Uh-huh.
into a side room off of the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So it's like where the washer and dryer are. That way, in the future, change it out
Right.
10 times easier.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then the plumber went down there and took it out. So I had an electrician and a plumber that I use come into the house,
Right.
figure out what the plan was. We let them know what we wanted to do. They told us what would be the best to do it, and they worked together, which they worked on my flip.
Yeah.
So, they know each other and were able to work together and
It was a
everything got done. Yeah.
seamless
Yeah, I
experience.
picked up my client's water heater, dropped it off, helped
Okay.
them get it set for that. And so that's the type of things. Other ones I've done roofs.
Killing me.
I try to do whatever I can. So if you are my client and you're out there and you do need something, don't hesitate to look out. And if we have any unfinished things that need to be tidied up, let me know.
Right.
Because we'll handle it. Like that's what we're about.
Yeah, I mean, we out here. We're professional. We keep it prepared,
There
ready.
you go.
We maintain a list of specialists and professionals. You know what I mean. It's a part of the job is being resourceful, and I think that's a lot of the. If all my clients were to say I could do anything for them, I could be a resource.
Right.
And I hope that every professional realtor and any professional in the real estate industry can be that for their client. It's not all the time.
Right.
But for me, I guess it's been a long weekend. I was running around in Massachusetts. I just got a little nice drone. I think if
Nice.
you watched one of our last podcasts, you saw some footage of me terribly piloting it, practicing.
I
Yeah,
saw
I'm
some
getting
cool
better. I'm getting
stuff
better.
in East Hartford. I saw you leaving from the office and giving people the bird's eye of the city, which I thought was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Due to recent events, I can't wait to get my sports car and tear up the town. Let me make sure we get some good drone footage of me doing it.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. We'll put a little montage together for no reason.
There you go. There you go.
No,
That's what
yeah.
I'm talking about.
The drone's fun though. It's fun.
course.
It's flying. It's fun to fly it. So since I got it and I'm having such a blast, I decided to just help out some family in Massachusetts. So I went up there to take some photos,
Nice.
fly it around. I went on the scenic trails up near like Shelburne Falls.
Okay.
If anyone is watching and you know of the area, you probably know the Bridge of Flowers. That's about it. Tourist wise, like if I were to put this on like a map in the world, right? People in the U.S. might know it because of that.
The Bridge of Flowers.
Yeah, they might know it because of that. But in worldwide, y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so it's fine. It's all good. Google it or I'm freaking Bing it. Don't use Bing. I'm kidding.
Wow. I thought they was gonna check your reviews, Romano.
Oh, what you mean?
Huh?
Oh, like you mean like hit up my review? No, I got a little bit of views on my reviews on Google Photos. Well, not Google Photos, but Google reviews. But you contribute. You know what I mean?
There you go.
I ain't got that many. I think everybody gets like at least 1 million.
I would hope so.
At least 1 million. I got like 2, but that's about it.
Real. I need more
Too many.
content out there as usual.
I mean, if I like it, I like to share that I like food. Maybe I'll come back every day until I die,
Oh,
but I ain't gonna share. It's weird. You know what I mean? Like I'll do a review of a restaurant I like, but the review of the restaurants I would go to every day if I had the choice
you
is
keeping it to
not the ones.
yourself. You
Yeah,
being stingy.
I'm gatekeeping the hell
That's
out of those restaurants,
crazy.
bro. I'm gatekeeping the hell out of them.
My man got it locked down. Big metal fence with a moat outside. Mike got a dragon.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. This channel is not Romano Eats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
real.
it's not what it's called. It's owning tomorrow.
Right.
As you might have noticed, we went through a huge rebrand. So a part of what I've been up to is that. So the Prefect Perspective podcast, as we all know it, now lives on owning tomorrow,
Yes,
and
sir.
we hope to bring you more on the channel as a whole.
Right. Because
Yeah.
that's what we're doing as we speak is owning the next day.
Right.
So
You know what I mean? I'm not saying invest, invest, invest because the country is a crazy country right now. But don't forget to build that generational wealth.
right. In some way, shape, or form.
Right. Right. So we keeping it tucked. You know, some crazy stuff is going. No. That's not. I don't know what you're. I don't know what that could be misconstrued as, right? But we gonna just pretend like we're focused here. We keep our energies balanced.
Real talk.
I think that there's a lot of talk, a lot of motivational talk on the internet these days. I
Right.
mean, whether you're running while people are recording you on some Ashton Hall type shit, you know, or you're selling a master class on how to sell your bathwater. You know? Yeah.
Bath water, bro.
I mean, I'm being ridiculous. I'm being ridiculous. Y'all all know.
But no, it's real.
I'm joking.
It's
I'm joking.
real. Like
Yeah.
people out there trying to sell whatever they can. Everything is a skill. They want you to try and learn it so you can make a million. Everyone's
Right.
someone else's mentor, I guess. I mean, I don't. I always hear you gotta like spend money to make money, whether it's investing in yourself
Right.
or investing into like some type of mentorship. I would always be careful about that to make sure that a person is actually living a lifestyle that you're looking to live.
Yeah.
And take your time with it because a lot of times you can find mentors just being in the proper places, not being in the club and things
You
like that nature.
light bulb just went off literally because we got like 3 light bulbs in this room.
That's real.
Like at least 6. Actually, I'm lying. There's some long fluorescent ones. Um, I just watched a documentary about American Apparel, and which, as you're talking about mentors,
Yeah.
right? I mean, for all the people who just watched American Apparel, right? This is probably for you, but or you knew about it when it was happening. The company took off around like the early 2000s. I'm talking about
Okay.
like a little bit before, during 2008 and after 2008.
Okay.
That shit was a hot new fashion trend. It was all just basically brandless clothing. It's like
That's lit.
if have you ever bought from Uniqlo or do you know about Uniqlo?
No.
Damn. Okay.
I see Sheen.
Sheen. Yeah, anything off Sheen. Anything off Sheen that ain't from a brand.
Right.
So it was basically like the American version of that.
Okay.
Where they were supposedly producing everything in the U.S., paying their
Gotcha.
workers above minimum, all that shit. So a lot of people joined it, and as the documentary kind of described it, it was like this cult-like environment where it was this one dude on top. Well, I don't know if I could disclose his name, but yeah, look, I'm saying in reference to the documentary, this guy's name was Dove, right? He was running it. Yeah. Like on some Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah.
My man was named after the soap.
Yo,
My bad.
I swear the soap came first. Yo, hold on.
I said he was named after the soap.
Oh no, hold up. I gotta find this. When?
Oh, you got to figure it out.
was
He
Dove
might be before the soap.
soup invented?
You're wilding.
Hey, yo, soap was invented a long time before that. So don't
Yeah, I'm
think
trying to
I'm
tell
searching
you.
some stupid. Anyways, yo, the company was made in 1957. Dove is older, but his Dove was Dov. That's how his name was. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong because I'm saying it wrong, or it could
Like
be
it's
Dove or something.
Dov.
I don't freaking
Dov.
know. But yeah, he's just like basically, as they portrayed him, an a hole who got mad vision points, because he thought of this idea that no one else was doing. Like he
Oh,
undercut all these brands by selling the idea that he's producing in the U.S., still taking advantage of immigrant workers. It was a whole thing. But he was taking advantage
oh,
of immigrant workers. The U.S. shut him down during the Obama's administration. They shut him down. So
damn.
they kind of hit his workforce, and that became a whole thing. Like, I'd recommend you watch it. But, like, in terms of mentorship, a lot of the people who work for him were, like, young as shit. Like, they were young people, like
Okay.
21 years old. I mean, I think the oldest were probably mothers, and like they were like mothers and fathers and shit. But,
So
like, the
they
people in the
thought he was about
high.
to take them up.
Right. Well, no, he kind of did. He low-key did. Like, he was putting in people who were managing district, like, stores and shit were,
Okay.
like, 21-year-olds.
Oh,
Like, fresh out of
that's tough.
fresh out of fucking high school, ain't got no direction, probably doing
Right.
some drugs. As I'm saying, I'm quoting the documentary, doing some drugs. He put him up. You running a store. You running multiple
Yo,
stores.
you funny
He
as
was doing
hell.
that shit. So like his company actually fucking started working because all these young people were underneath him, and there was no one in the company eventually at some point ever telling him no. So this nigga was doing whatever the fuck he
Mm.
wanted. It was on some dictatorship type, but it was effective because of one voice.
He became a cult.
He became a cult leader
That's
in the
crazy.
wide open. Um, but eventually, yeah, he gets called out on that shit because he was running the company in a way where it was high risk as fuck. He was opening stores with the money he got from going public. He was expanding, expanding, expanding. But remember the year I told you, bro, 2008. So you already know we got hit by the housing market again, fuck, like messed up. And then we got a recession after that, or during
Hilarious.
that even. And then all of that meant opening new stores. So the brand kind of like we don't hear about. I literally don't even remember their brand.
That's
But
hilarious.
watching this documentary, I was like, yo, people were going nuts over it.
Yeah, I became daddy that year.
Yeah, he was locked up.
Huh?
He was going
Yeah.
through it.
Well, yeah. It was rough times,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's what was
yeah,
happening during your rough times, bro. Everybody
yeah,
else was suffering too.
yeah. I believe it, but
Trust.
I was balling slightly. I was almost there, but
Oh
I was
shit.
becoming daddy too.
Oh, okay. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you. I
that's
got you. So,
wild.
yeah, you see the success. The more you have it, the more baby moms you got.
Oh hell no, Romano! I ain't trying to go out like that. Then your ass is dead done. What the
Yo,
hell?
I'm playing.
You're tweaking.
Okay, no. I'm not saying in relation to Ryan. I'm saying
Okay.
it as an observation of our society at the moment, unfortunately, that it's exponential.
I don't know if all them rich cats paying out all that alimony would agree.
But on the note of selling, we wanted to talk to you guys about listing, like Ryan mentioned
Yeah, yeah.
earlier. Um, don't don't buy weird things. Don't sell people weird things. But when you come around to listing your home, this is what's important. Tell them what's important, bro. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh,
Yeah,
word. Yeah, there's a few things that are important.
yeah,
First of all, make it the way you would want to see it if you were walking in
100%. So
looking at
you
something.
go to an appointment with a realtor, right?
Right.
I'm a client. I walk in. Ryan, I'm trying to list my house. I don't. I just want the money fast. I want it quick, easy. I don't care. Just do it. I'll pay you whatever you want because I already paid off my house. Rationally
Right. It's
speaking, it don't
profit.
matter to me. Just make sure I'm gonna negotiate you with this. I'm gonna say, yo, I know realtors on average get paid this, but there is no average because that's illegal.
Right.
I feel like I would like you to do this. And you say, okay, sure. I believe that that is a fair price for what you asked of me according to the entire listing agreement. No one knows what numbers are being exchanged except you two. And then now they say, all right, when are we getting started? Where are we going?
Where are we going?
So you're saying make it feel like how you'd want it to be.
So just meaning it should be clean,
Right.
right? It should be kept like maintenance wise, and also like general physical appearance. So like the walls, the paint, not being blemished or peeling
Right.
or things of that nature. One of the biggest things that would trouble me when I would go to look at houses
Yeah.
would be like sometimes the baseboard radiators when they weren't kept well and
Oh,
they're all like bent up out of place or
messed
the
up.
covers are off. Like it just shows like lack of care in the property. So
Right.
there's like certain things you should do to get your property in a straightforward position to make it appealing. Whether it's big or small, whether it's got a lot of rooms or just a few rooms.
Just a couple rooms, yeah.
Yeah, you can do something, to make it look homey, and attractive. No clutter. Get things out of the way, hallways, even basements, garages, and attic ways should be clear to
Yeah,
a
that's
certain
true. For
extent.
sure. For
Not
sure.
like empty, obviously,
Yeah.
because people are living there, but
Yeah.
it should be like neat, and people should be able to pass through and see what it is. Unless you're hiding something.
Just hide that better. Okay? If you're gonna hide something, hide it better. That's all you gotta do. Um
He's tweaking. He's tweaking.
yeah, no, but in in agreeing with Ryan, you have a large family. You can't avoid having toys everywhere, Just don't have the Legos where someone would walk. Because if they were to step on a Lego, they will 100% be less likely to offer you top dollar for you.
You are stupid.
I'm saying, if I'm walking in a property and I kick someone's scooter and it comes back and hits my other
Nah,
ankle,
yeah, I might be leaving.
oh my God.
Sure sign, this
You're going
place
to hear
is
from
not
me.
for me.
You're going to hear from me.
Yo. Oh, you suing them too? You don't
No.
even want the property. You about to get some cash to buy another one. That's crazy.
Yeah, but exaggeration aside, yes. Do not have your property in some crazy conditions when you're trying to list it. It's going to make it easier for everyone if there's at least a minimum amount of foot traffic you can allow for,
Right.
on everybody. You, the people coming into your house, and you getting the house out your hair, pretty much. And is there any like unique solutions you might offer? Because you mentioned the baseboard being messed up, but it's not often easy to find a replacement part for some of these, unless where would you go and find it? Like Home Depot?
No.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Home Depot. Sorry, not sorry.
so they don't carry that. You're saying?
I'm not saying that they don't carry it, but I'm not sure. But I know when I was doing my stuff, I went to like a bathroom supply store
Oh,
that had everything. So I redid like the whole vent. Even one of the vents had like a rusty pipe, so we replaced the piping and everything underneath, like the gas
that's
or
nice.
the water line that the water is running through and heating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it was kind of like corroding, so
Oh.
we replaced that as well and put like a brand new baseboard cover on it and all of that. So, Home Depot is good if you throwing some stuff together. When I was doing my property, I
They
did
will.
spend a lot of time and money in there. But I also spent some time like bringing certain things back. I went through like, I think like at least like 3 bathtubs because
Three
at
bathtubs.
one time they just gave me like 2 right ones and I needed 1 right one left. Then the next one was like cracked. And it was just like a lot of things. But these guys happen anywhere. But it's like sometimes better when you find an actual like retailer or wholesale or excuse me, not retailer, a wholesaler or a supply store
Yeah.
that will carry these things. And usually a good contractor will know where to find those things.
Or they might even offer a pickup option. They'll pick it up.
Right, whatever. So, things like that, like just tidy it up, make it in a presentable condition because the average person isn't going to say, "Oh, I don't care what I get for this." Usually everybody has a number.
Yeah.
And it's our job as agents to decide is that number realistic or not and to
Exactly.
be able to explain why in a reasonable way to that person. And also to be able to help them because a lot of people want a private sale. When you private sell, you may not, you know, be able to do everything if you're not an agent. You may not be able to do everything
Oh
to
yeah.
sell it yourself.
Yeah.
And there is a fee regardless that you're gonna possibly end up paying unless you know the person you're buying the house from and you maybe just use some lawyers or something like that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, if you're out there in the market, you're gonna need an agent most likely to help you process some paperwork to possibly get it on the MLS. Otherwise, you may be stuck using like just one general sales site and
Yeah.
paying money
Right.
versus having us put it on there for you and put it on what 13, 14, 15 different sites.
Yeah. It gets pushed out to like what apartments.com, realtors.com,
Okay.
Zillow. I don't like talking about them, but Zillow.
And then we're gonna do what to it? We're gonna do an open house, and we're gonna attach that to the MLS listing, so that now we have the great opportunity of putting coming soon. So a week or 2 weeks out, you can list it as coming soon.
Right.
You have start with your open house on your first day. It goes active to like really generate some traffic in there. Like these are some of the techniques I think we use now when we're listing properties that are successful.
Yeah.
My biggest pet peeve I see out there is just listing agents not actually letting the house stay long enough to get, and we talked about it a little bit before, from issues I've gone through personally,
Yeah.
but just not leaving it on the market long enough to get all your offers. I understand people are going to give you great offers. I understand they may say like, oh, it's a cash offer and it's limited because you can't put an expiration date on your offer. But
Right.
at the same time, why would you want to sell yourself short of truly seeing what's out there?
You're right.
Okay.
No, I was thinking about it. You're right. So it's very important to understand why you want to work with a professional.
Right.
What qualifies them above anyone else. And here at Prefect Realty, we are a cut above the rest.
Right. What about loans, Romano?
Which,
How would you talk to your seller about loans in the offer? Like
loans and as in like from the person.
like
Oh,
saying you're working with a seller.
right.
You're looking at offers. You got VA, you got CHAFA, you got a cash loan offer.
I mean, again, like I would just base my advice off of what they described for their timeline. Because when you start looking at loans, it's all in the amount of time it takes to close a loan.
Right.
Not to say that I'm telling you, hey, choose based off of the loan because that gets into ethical stuff. It's that, hey, my seller needs to move within 2 weeks because they're also trying to buy a house. So at that point, they're going to at least look for a faster deal. So admittedly, if they're looking at loans, a cash offer is the reason why they win often because a
Right.
cash offer is fast.
Right.
But looking at the different kinds of loans, you want to be aware of what they come with. If you're just looking broadly, you just want to find a buyer. Maybe you want to pass it along to someone who will care for the property. So that, of course, is an FHA.
Right.
So if you're looking at an FHA buyer, then you know that their loan is going to request certain standards on the house. So if
Right.
you got peeling paint, you got some steps without no railing, you got to get those fixed immediately. Get it repaired, upgraded, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You got to get the exterior of your house looking at least to standard, where someone can inhabit without risking their life. But I don't like to say that. I would like if you can sell the house at the value you believe it's worth. So putting in that little bit of work is always worth it. You know what
Right.
I mean? Getting that number you want to see is important to me. But you know what? Getting the house at what it's worth is the most important. You know?
So how do we determine that number?
Well, at that point, it's going to be the market, guys. All right. I can list a house for $500,000 and it's a 2-bedroom ranch with a
That's
half
wild.
bathroom, not even a full bathroom, a half bathroom. All
Better
right.
be in Greenwich.
It's, I don't know where it's at, right? It don't matter where it's at because it only a set few people can afford a $500,000 house that only has 2 bedrooms and a half bathroom.
I've seen them though, kinda.
They a full bathroom, maybe.
I mean, Vernon. I think I showed someone a house that was like almost half a mil, and it
What
was
happened?
really a ranch, like a raised ranch or so, that was just like the basement was done up and stuff like that. But it
Yeah.
really didn't have a huge amount of bedrooms. It might have had like one extra bedroom in the basement. So we were looking at like a 3 bedroom, maybe like bath and a half, maybe 2 baths. But I think one had a shower, so technically
Right.
2 fulls off of a stand up shower. But yeah, location can have its effect. That's why, like you said, the market and running the market analysis is important.
Right.
That's what stops us from just saying we can do it for whatever number and just pulling it out of nowhere or
Oh, oh,
other
that's what.
places.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, a market analysis is step one. But I'm saying that if someone were to come with me with a ridiculous number, I would tell them that, especially if they would die on the hill for that number, I tell you guaranteed, if the location doesn't support the value
Right.
you're
In
looking
general.
for, then the market will explain to you that that what's going on. Like
When no one's looking at
the
your
market gonna
house.
give you a little slap. You know what I mean? Like you,
Right.
hey, look, like I don't know if I would, but if per se, I'm like, all right, I'm arguing with my cousin. He wants to list at 500,000. The house is clearly not gonna get it in the neighborhood, and I know that because I ran my comps.
Right.
But hey, he wants it listed, so hey, I tell him, look, for making me do this, here's a fee. I list the house, and the house goes up, goes a year without any showings. Then what will that say? You know. So
That's
that's the
it. Yeah, that
market
number
giving
is
you a
too
slap.
high. Yeah.
Market giving you a little
And
tap,
it
a
will
little love tap.
happen.
You know.
I've seen it.
So you
I've
gotta
seen it.
drop that price like it's hot. You know what I mean?
Juvenile. Slanging on.
Yo, that's why when you see that down sign on Zillow and all the platforms is red, yeah, because it's hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't touch until it's cooled off.
Yo, don't tell them that. They need to get that off there. They
Yo,
trying to get that off their hands ASAP. It's
oh,
hot, all right.
oh yeah. So, you know, a professional will run a market analysis, and it makes sense to list near that number. You can do a different variety of strategies. If you looked at your local Zillow listings, I hate if you looked at your local Zillow listings, right? I'm cool with those guys. I'm cool with them. If you look at the local listings, I said it 3 times.
Yeah,
So
he's
you're listening to me. You'll find that you might find a house that looks way more than it's actually listed for. So you're talking about 2,500 square foot, 3,000 square feet. They starting at 299, 399.
you're saying they're underbidding.
They're looking for a low start, right? That's also a strategy that might be suggested. If you hear it and when you're going to list, don't be afraid. All it really means is that you're looking to build competition in order to establish at least market price, but potentially achieve a higher price. Not with the intention to solely look for a higher price, but you want to build competition around the house and let people, work their way around what you're looking for. Because that's happened, and some people will take literally near that listing price. I've had it happen in New Britain, where the house I helped the house I helped someone buy was listed at like 290 something, 95, 500, and the seller personally would not take more than that. He was completely fine with taking exactly that much.
That was his bottom.
That was literally what he was looking for the
Yeah,
house. He
that was his
he
number.
trusted that number, and that's what he was going for. So sometimes a hard number from a seller can go either way. And the point of having that analysis is to know exactly what it's worth, as according to the typical way that houses are valued. Because we have so much historical data just sitting right there next door to you,
Bang, bang, bang.
that sold in your neighborhood recently. So that's all that is. That's what that strategy looks like, and you can expect that hey, if you know what number you really want and you meet that minimum, then working with someone to get appropriately timed closing is in your benefit. But that's me just like going on that whole tangent on that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So,
So there's a lot that goes into listing.
yep, there is.
Building appeal is what we really just talked about, and there's also due diligence on listing agent side, where it's like, yeah, you're gonna have the seller sign a bunch of forms disclosing a
Right.
bunch of information. Recently, they just changed the public act, I think. So property, our property contin, our property conditions report just changed a little bit, right?
Yeah, I saw the
It's
little
gonna
alert.
require something about flood risk, right? And that you're hearing that live and direct, like that. We got this email through our consumer department for the state like a couple days ago. So this is a big update.
Shout out to one of my clients. We just had an issue with that
Right.
property we closed on. So I'm glad to see something like that come into effect. And I may have to get with my client and try to get something retroed on the situation we faced. Um, One of the hardest things I think of being a newer agent in the industry with people who have such a long tenure
Right.
is you trying to build good relationships. But when people do weird things or when, the clients are not honest about things,
Right.
it puts everyone in a bad situation. As an agent, I have to, meet with someone and help them along the way and refer them to many different people.
Right.
If anyone doesn't help that person in the manner that I expect them to, I like take responsibility for that.
Yeah, and I can get that
And
too.
that's including in the home we put the offer in on. So yeah, to anyone out there, if you've bought a home and you've noticed that something is not right, feel free to reach out to your agent and let them know what's going on. Push the issue if there is an issue, and let's get it rectified.
Right.
You know,
You know, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens throughout a deal, after a deal.
right,
Just understand what you're getting into. You know, whoever you're working with should make everything clear, all the risks clear. I had a closing the other day, and everybody knows what happens at the closing. There's a stack of paper that could almost be the length of your arm,
right,
depending on what you're closing on and how much you're closing on. Your attorney should be sitting there and walking you through everything. So we make sure we work with professionals that do just that. But that's more on the buying side. On the listing side, again, we maintain an attorney that's very knowledgeable on the entire process. So on our side, you're looking at someone who's efficiently working with a buyer, screening whatever they got going on, making sure your end of the deal is locked down, and everything that's signed needs to be signed appropriately. All the P's and Q's need to line up.
yes,
Otherwise, the request goes to the other side and things getting investigated as they should be. You're paying an attorney a ton of money per hour to be doing all this work, and we make sure that these attorneys are doing exactly such.
right,
You know what I mean? So that's always great. And I was mentioning due diligence earlier. That's a big part. That's a big
right.
part of it because your attorneys are going to be doing that digging.
Right. And you also mentioned previously the due diligence of the agent, right? That is not just the house they have to know about and be prepped on. There were some other outside factors I think you wanted to bring to the table.
Yeah, yo, we um what did I called it, so it's community services, so if your agent is not aware of what's being offered around the property, that makes it kind of difficult to sell a house based off location. You know what I mean it's easier in this digital age, right?
Right.
The skill was more important when no one could Google, hey, what is the best school in the state? Should I send my kid there? Why should I send my kid? You can answer all your questions by Googling or running a quick AI prompt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Modern as hell. But back in the day, I'll start there. You needed to know what was around. So someone's coming to see your house because they printed it out and they're walking with a list and they're with their agent. You know what I mean? You got to be the expert if you're there, especially at an
Right.
open house, and say, look, this house is situated here. You got 10 minutes to there, 10 minutes to there, and you might not have known this, but there's a little hole in the wall down there downtown that you might love. They got this kind of social hour. They got this that they offer over there. Local middle school has adult classes for this. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what resources they might need. But
Right.
being that
Very true.
resource, I set that up.
Yeah, that's
Being that
beautiful, brother.
resource, really sets you beyond just a guy selling the house.
Right. It sounds good, and like he said, it's super informative to the client.
Right.
To let them know what's around them, literally. You know, you love the
Seriously.
house. What about everything else? Because the house is a part of a neighborhood. The neighborhood is a part of a town or a city or whatever. You need to know what's around, where your local things that you enjoy in comparison to where you now live.
Right. You
So,
gotta
in
know
the
what's
case you're
going
in an
on.
area you're not familiar with.
Right. And in modern society, right? Like I said back in the day when you was printing off lists, walking around with your realtor. Well, your realtor is printing off lists, and y'all was meeting up at locations. Walking around the good old beating the block. You know, that is
Spend.
not so much the case. Everything is digitalized now.
Right.
You've got lock boxes. You hit a code, scan that, you're in a house. Nowadays, everything's fast. You can do research on locations, whether you're a client, realtor, anyone, from a phone and even a smartwatch. The difference now is that you have to be aware of the things that would not necessarily be readily available through a quick search. So, like how Ryan was mentioning, his client has had some difficulties with hidden flood issues that weren't disclosed. That is a big part of it. So if you're doing your due diligence now, it's not going to be, oh, I know this area more than anyone else. You're going to know the area. You can
Right.
hit your smartwatch and find what's going on
There
around
you go.
town. But being an agent that goes above and beyond, you'd be aware of the fact that FEMA does frequent recoding of floodplain like maps,
Lines, right.
like planning and zoning. So what you would do in that case is your awareness of that would help you know that, maybe this is X now, but so it looks like they've gone from X to semi flooding or frequent flooding or whatever their codes are. So that's what I would like to see, but it's not everybody would know about that. So that's why I say it would be a trade above the rest.
The other issue with it is because I don't think it's necessarily the area in general,
Right.
but it's the construction of the house. Similar to my property is using like those wells for the basement windows. So when you have those wells, they basically start to fill up with water, and then it can
Oh,
actually start leaking through the window.
yeah.
So it's basically an issue more of that than I think it actually being in a flood zone.
Dang.
So that's a word for the wise. Like what I did in my investment property was I put window covers over the window wells. But it was very hard to find ones that were wide enough. So sometimes you have to special order them, and you may need to put like some silicone or something like that
Yeah,
around it
get a
to
seal.
yeah. But even then, I was still getting some water in. So it's like you have to find some way to drain that out.
Yeah, unless
Dig
you're.
a little deeper, put some rocks down, do something to kind of dissipate that water back into the ground, away from the house, away from the windows, things like that. But definitely, you need to know, like what you're saying about the flood area changes. Like it's things we have to check every time we're dealing with someone. And
Right.
also a great question we have to ask when we're helping someone sell. You
No,
know,
exactly. Exactly. And I think what the well you're talking about is like the easements, which is a whole other like thing. So like, if you're looking to put in a room in a basement that previously was not finished,
right?
the thing you got to know in most states or most municipalities or wherever they have pretty advanced residential coding, they'll require that you have two exits to a livable space.
Right.
So if you got a basement with the stairs going in the house and then one going outside the house, the windows don't count because sometimes they're too small.
Right.
So what
Definitely.
you'd end up having is them installing these like kind of large easements where you can either jump down or you can climb up on a little ladder and get in and out through a almost person sized window. You should be able to at least shimmy your way in and out comfortably, or even pop it in and pop it, just unlock it from inside and pop it open, or pull it in. Just whichever is the latest model you get. I don't know.
Pop it, lock it, and
Yeah.
drop it. I don't know if it's that tight, but yeah, there's some type of little small space that I think is just used. It's supposed to let the water dissipate,
Right.
but yeah, it
It's
doesn't.
not. It's not doing its job. So
Doesn't. They
poor
usually don't.
construction,
Yeah,
like a lot less than poor, like
exactly.
terrible construction.
Exactly. So
Jeez.
not something I would have ever thought was a good thing to do if I was building a house,
Right.
especially not up here. Rain, snow, melting snow, all types of different water intrusions that come out in here. So you have to be careful. So that's another thing. Pay attention when you're shopping to the setup of the basement, how the windows are. If you start seeing those wells, look for water damage inside in the basement. Make sure, and even if you don't see it, prepare for it just in case. Imagine that you may have to do some corrective actions with those window wells.
Right. And yeah, I mean, those are all tips and tricks that you might have heard before, but you definitely need to hear again.
Deserved.
You can never not hear it enough. So listing home comes with a lot of sides, and some that we certainly haven't even listed. Like there's way too much to sit down. We would be here all night
Right.
explaining how to list a house most efficiently, but every situation is different. So that's why you work with a professional who can adapt to those situations. You know what I mean? Make those recommendations that suit your house and cut through the fluff. That is you trying to find out what is it that will have you being the most efficient or the most visible on the market.
Deserved.
That kind of did or did not make no, not efficient. No, I'm trying to. Most marketable makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, some people, time is more important than the money, like you said earlier. So it might be about
Right.
efficiency.
So it might be just, hey, I want to do the bathroom, I want to do the kitchen over a little bit, and then we'll call it there. You'll run into those types of people. I'm not saying those types of people are right for what they do, because hey, you might want the bedroom redone. Look, some people just want to get the house off their hands, and they'll sell it in whatever way they can get what they want for it, just to make you aware. You know,
Gotcha.
that's
Yes,
all
sir.
it is. That's
Yes,
all it
sir.
is.
Real talk.
So, you got anything else for them?
I mean, I think we didn't give them enough. A lot of gems. We
got-
dropped some knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
need to
we-
list a house, call us.
And then, like you mentioned, you wanted to have your daughter on. So there's another episode coming out
Yes, very soon.
very, very soon. So please like, subscribe, comment, drop the feedback. Let us know what you want us to discuss. We will talk about it. We'll get down into the weeds.
Oh, yeah.
Into the weeds.
Yeah, I'm getting down on the weeds.
You know,
I mean,
into
in
the
the
weeds.
weeds.
Yeah, like no, literally, we are thorough people. You know, we like to investigate, not journally. What the heck? Journaling is not a word. Not in terms of journalism.
Journaling, writing in your journal.
Journaling,
Journaling.
not a
I don't know if that's how
LOI. You don't have to journal. So, yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna put out some more stuff as usual. We took a little break here, so you probably didn't see nothing last week, but this week we're all set. We're dropping something hot, fast, and educational.
And in your
Deuces.
yeah,
Peace sign, double peace sign. Double peace
A-Town
sign.
down and all that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys. I make sure I release this at like 2 a.m. So it's actually nighttime when I end the videos. You know.
These people are blowing me up, man.